today, and thanks for tuning in to Coffee with the Candidates. I'm Clint Rangel, joined here with Adonis Mendiola, DYA Director, who will be running for office, and we are here at the Port of Mocha in Hagåtña. So, Adonis, first of all, what made you decide to run for office?
I've had to ask myself this question, as anybody would, and as I was asked by many, a family member or friend. And it was, I think, back in the days of seeing my parents involved with the leadership on Guam, choosing the leadership and choosing the character of the men and women who wanted to take our island to prosperity. And that to me spoke significantly to what I think I could bring to the table. I want to consider myself a man of character, a man of purpose and vision, and I want to share that with the people of Guam. A little bit of background, some things that people may or may not know about me. I'm a veteran of the Desert Storm. I served active duty in the Guard and Reserve, and I like to liken why I chose to serve, or why I choose to serve as a leader in this community, to my choosing to join the military. And that's because I chose to do it for God and country. I wanted to make an impact on the world around me. And I think every one of us wants to make a difference. And to know that difference, you've got to step up and find what does make you different and what defines you. And I hope that my love for my island, my love for my people, my family, is conveyed in my willingness to step up.
You've decided to run as a Republican. Tell us, what were some of the factors, guiding factors in your life, influential factors in your life that led you to become a Republican?
Well, some may or may not know, as I stated earlier, my father ran for office. He ran as a Democrat. He's got long-standing roots, as well as my mother, in the Democratic Party. And some would say, well, why would you run as a Republican? And I've answered that it's aligned to my principles, my values. My father and mother taught us to be independent thinkers and to take a stand. And so I've stood by many of my beliefs, and I've seen the Republican Party. I've aligned myself with many of the opportunities to include different perspectives, whether they be Democrat, whether they be independent, and whether they be Republican. Because at the end of the day, I think we all want the same thing. We're just going about it differently. And we need to find some middle ground. And I think I've been able to find that middle ground by not just working with great Democrats, but now working with some great Republicans. And finding that middle ground is something I think we all want in the legislature, so that there's not so much divisiveness.
Now, switching gears a little bit here, tell us a little bit about, I'm going to ask you to sort of grade yourself. What are some of what you would say are your biggest successes in life and your biggest failures?
Okay. Well, achieving 25 years of marriage is definitely a success for me. And learning along the way from the failures, from failing to be the best husband I can be or the best father I can be to 3 wonderful sons, is probably the failure that marks that, where I may or may not have spent enough time with the wife, or courting her, continuously courting her.
You're just talking about little failures here, nothing major.
Oh, thank you. Well, and I guess a major success for me too would be to be a father of going on 24 years, raising 3 wonderful sons, and sons who really value their education, respect their mother, myself, and their elders, and who look to the future to make it their own and become a part of the fabric of our community. As far as failures are concerned, I think it is maybe a short-sightedness, maybe not having the perspective I need because I'm too focused on my day-to-day affairs. I think when we open ourselves up to others, when we see things through others' eyes, we'll gain the success of knowing what to do and knowing how to improve our game, so to speak.
All right, now some other questions dealing with issues that the island has been talking about a lot lately. What is your stance on medical marijuana?
Well, I'm a former GMH employee. In fact, I worked in pharmacy. And in the time that I worked in pharmacy for about 9 years, we introduced Marinol. And Marinol sounds like marijuana. And we introduced that for a particular reason, and that was because it helped our chemotherapy patients, patients with compromised immune systems who couldn't stomach food, didn't have an appetite. So we put that on formulary. So as far as answering your question, as far as supporting medical marijuana, I am in support of the medicinal purposes and uses of marijuana.
So is there any kind of story you could tell viewers about that they might not know about you, that you could share with us? Any interesting fact about yourself?
Well, as many may or may not know, I'm the director of Department of Youth Affairs. And when many a child comes to DYA, I've shared some thoughts with them, and that's that they were caught to be taught a lesson. And that's meaningful because many of them who wind up at DYA or the juvenile justice system need to find their way back. And there's therapy that's provided, there's training, job training even, we're getting into that. But I'd like to think that I've gone the way of many of these kids. I didn't grow up rich. I came up with very humble means. I often share with them that I had canvas for a wall, canvas for a ceiling, and at the age of 5, slept under a mosquito net on a platform. And we lived humbly like that because we couldn't afford the home that we lived in. But the beautiful part of it was the hard work at 5, 6, 7 years old, planting crops paid off because as a family we went into League One and we sold Chinese cabbage 2 for $1, and it was Christmas. So I'm not a stranger to hard work. I know where a lot of these kids have been. I come from a family where Dad was hard and firm, and it was many a lesson we had to learn as children to be able to overcome the adversities in our lives. But I've shared with the kids, there is going to be somebody with a better life than yourself, and maybe somebody with a worse life. But you got to take the life you have now, and try to make the best of it. And when you have caring adults, like we do at DYA, like they might find at school, with a counselor, maybe an uncle and aunt, latch on to them, learn from them, and definitely their lives are going to be changed by it. And my life was changed by many a good adult, good mentor.
All right, Adonis, well, thank you very much for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, Adonis Mendiola, Director of DYA, running for Senator on the Republican ticket. And I'm Clement Gell. Thanks for watching. You've been watching Coffee with the Candidates here at the Port of Mocha in Agana.